Well, good day once again, Jason Haines, QPL Rural here, with another look around the Riverina at what's been happening in rural property over the last week. Well, certainly has been a big week for big headlines. Certainly some major moves with our international trading partners, tariffs on barley, cutting of or removing of export licences for some of our northern abattoirs. You go to the States and you've got pigs being slaughtered and milk going down the drain. All a bit crazy right around the world, but let's hope things settle down before long. Now, I'd like to go back to the dumping of milk and slaughtering of some animals in the States. I'd like to think that it's not a situation we're going to see here in Australia for a number of reasons. A lot of that US system is built on a just-in-time type operation where you've got a production system feeding a factory feeding a marketplace. As soon as and the wheel goes round and round, no great allowances for storage, no great allowances for things to go wrong. And as soon as a spoke goes out of the wheel, like a COVID-19 outbreak where you've got an abattoir or something that needs shutting down, you've got supply coming in one end with nowhere to go. Take milk, for example. You've got a marketplace there that relies on school kids having a lot of milk and taking it in through their school system. As soon as the school system's gone, well, that market's gone, and all of a sudden you've got no throughput and no market for that milk, and it ends up being dumped. Now, I'd like to think that this doesn't happen as easily in the Australian system for a number of reasons. For instance, in our milk system here in Australia, we've got plenty of capacity in Australia, and we're largely designed around what ultimately is an export market. So a lot of that milk can go to another factory and go through and produce powder and those sorts of things that are stored. They're not perishable or immediately perishable, and they can go onto that international market. The same goes for our pork industry, except that we're not actually a great exporter of pork. We're an importer or a net importer of pork, so it takes a bit more for things to go wrong in that marketplace. Now, the same can be said for poultry. And no doubt the marketplace is going to be affected by an excess in some areas, but I don't think we're going to see that mass dumping and wastage of food that we do see in other parts of the world. On the contrary, where you've got a glut in the marketplace at the moment, producers will tighten production with time, and I know it's hard to turn it down in an ag system, but certainly there'll be production turned down, and then you're going to have a deficit when we're coming out the other end where there'll be this lag where some of our competitors won't be able to ramp up production quite as quickly as they'd like to capitalise on what will be increasing demand coming out of this COVID-19. The other big news just released yesterday was a report by CBA that suggested that real estate values, and we're talking commercial in Sydney and Melbourne real estate, could drop by as much as a third. That's certainly something we're not seeing at the moment, and I would say one of those predictions that are going to prove false in the next few months. What we're seeing at the moment is a rush towards agriculture and towards real estate at the moment as a safer bet. And if anything, we're actually seeing prices rise. So there's a positive lift in rises in our residential operation at the moment. And certainly, as we've reported before, we're getting some very strong interest in agriculture at the moment. And we're expecting another lift in capital gains this year out of agricultural assets. So in summary, this too will pass. No doubt the last couple of weeks has been pretty unsettling, especially for those in the middle of planting barley and the like. But I believe business as usual. All we can do is get on and do what we do best. Okay, on the property market this week, we've still got a push for those people that are finishing up that dry land cropping. We've got a push for dry land cropping country at the moment. So if you've got any size parcels there of dry land cropping that you'd like to get set up for this season, we've got active buyers there at the moment. I've got somebody looking for about 500 acres of irrigation country around that Findlay area. We're looking for about 1,000 acres of probably dry land country, but we need access to water around that Griffith area, so within an hour's travel of Griffith. Anything around that intensive livestock systems, we've also got a bit of interest at the moment. Protein. The world's all talking about protein at the moment, both plant-based protein and animal proteins. While we're talking intensive animals, piggeries. Don't go far past this piggery. If you're a grain producer or a straight investor, ask me about the numbers on this. You'll be very, very surprised at the return on investment and the cash in, cash out of this investment or this operation every week. This is a very repeatable production system that would complement any operation, and there's opportunity here both to own this operation outright or possibly there's a conversation there to take a stake in it so you don't have to worry about the management. Now, as always, if you'd like any more information on any one of our properties here today, please give me a call at any time, 0488 594 450. We'll catch up again next week. Talk to you then. Cheers.